What's going on, traders? Welcome back again today for another live stream. If you're new, my name is Zach. This is Real Deal Futures. Back at it for round 2 today. We streamed for London Open overnight session. That was fun. Back at it for NYSE Open. We are opening up right now here. We are at 9:30. Yeah, 9:30 on the dot. 40 seconds past, I should say, opening up for NYSE Open. Make sure your boots on the screen before we jump onto the charts. Trading's risky. Most traders do lose money. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. Nothing I say or do here or anywhere else is a suggestion or recommendation to do anything. Do your own research. Make your own trading decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is. Even in funded prop firm accounts. And the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content like Top 1 Futures, Code RDF, Bookmap, and others. Let's go ahead and look at the charts. On that note, talking about Code RDF, Bookmap, and others. Good morning, good morning. Deal is still running from both of those guys. Top 1 Futures, 55% off with Code RDF on the instant, the straight to funded Sim Pro accounts, 35% off on the other ones. I'm going to throw that link in the chat. We'll pin it on YouTube. We'll throw it in Twitter. Bam. Yeah, we'll throw it in Twitter in a minute, but we're going to get this show rolling first. Bookmap still got a wild 4th of July deal. They usually do not have crazy deals like that, but they do have one rolling right now. I'll throw links and stuff in the chat in just a little bit once we get opened up here. But we are live here on YouTube, Kick, X. Tried to do IG again, but that didn't work. We'll run it for the IG peeps later. I don't think that's a great platform to stream on anyway. So I got to adjust this right here. We are out getting shot of a rocket right now here on ES. Want to go ahead and adjust this to 9:29 a.m. Eastern. That's going to be my overnight high because, as you can see, we were pushing all the way up into this open. We are looking really strong right out of the gate here on ES. We do have some basic data coming up later today, about 10 a.m., just 10 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. We got some basic stuff. Take a quick look at that before we get some more analysis rolling. Here is forexfactory.com, a little bit of financial news right here we can take a look at for the rest of the week. The big one on the board for later is 2 p.m. FOMC meeting minutes. That could be that could mean some consolidation this morning ahead of that, but obviously we're not seeing that right off the bat. We do have a little bit of data, like I said, coming in here before that, 10:30. 10-year bond auction can sometimes do something, make it do something, right? Like that meme poking it with a stick. But here we are right back to the 6,300s. I would be considering a short up here if this wasn't so damn quick into the morning. I like to keep myself out of the market for the first at least 10 minutes. I try to give myself the 10-minute mark to say, don't jump in. You've done this before. You know how this goes. So I'm gonna sit patient with you guys as we watch this market really start to take off here. We were consolidating overnight. Again, I traded the overnight session with you guys. Going to be back at it again for 3 a.m. London Open, and then again at 9:30 a.m. I'm going to see how long I can run this before I run out of steam. Obviously, there is a performance-based side of trading, and if you run yourself ragged, probably not going to perform that well. So we'll see. I'm going to push that upper limit this week. Have some fun with you guys. So here we are back to the 6,300. Looking at the daily candles, right? Just the overnight. We know what's been going on, right? Really pushing to the upside after that sell-off on Trump, tariff information all the way into April, driving all the way through all-time highs. A little bit of a pullback here, inside bar, and here we are. Classic move, right? After some tight consolidation, some choppiness back and forth for a little bit, oftentimes we do get the larger movement, right? We do get the larger push to the upside or downside. And we are getting it to the upside here pretty heavy right off the open. Now, again, I would be looking at this short because we're coming up into an area of high volume. Unless we're going to go and just blast through the highs right off of the open, I think we're likely to pull back. Again, we got news coming out later today, so I don't know if this market has just made up its mind. So far, again, very bullish, very strong out of the gate. Immediate jump in CVD, blasting through on Bookmap the 6,300s, right? We really came through that pretty quickly. Here we are trading above it. So the 05s, the 10s, maybe for a really aggressive short. But I love you know me, I love a back to VWAP play. I love a back to area of high volume off of the 1 minute. And that's pretty nice and far extended for me. Could get a stop all the way above highs over here. Let's just take a look. Yeah, this would be like the 15s if we came up here and challenged some of these highs, this area right up here. Obviously, nothing that I'm going to get all the way up above the 30s. What is this? 33. Excuse me, 63.33 and a quarter. Yeah, man, I like this one short. Back to overnight high, back to prior day high. It's just a little early for me, guys. I got to stick to my guns, but I like this short above the 6,300 level. We're going to see how this one would have paid if I got involved. If we don't sell off really harshly here, I'm going to look short. I'm going to look to short this right off the open. It would allow me to get a stop above those 63.10s. Not for long. Here we go if we start pulling back. It's just too quick for me. I just don't like to get involved off the open. I really don't. Not for the first 10 minutes. So I'm going to stick to the very few rules that I have for myself. I allow myself a lot of freedom, a lot of discretion here trading. Not as much as I did overnight for scalping NQ with you guys. A little bit clearer, a little bit more consistent, but especially when it comes to trade management. But there's one that I really try to stick to, which is you shouldn't be taking a trade in the first 2 minutes of market open. There's a lot of volatility. You can get jacked up and excited, and before you know it, you take that first stop out. The market sets up a little bit more, does what you want it to do, pushes a little bit higher maybe in this case, gives you the setup that you really want, good way to structure risk. And if you do miss something off of the open, for me personally, I find that doesn't outweigh the times that I just get cooked right off the open. So you got to rely on your data. Trust your data. Your data don't lie. Everything else in this world will lie to you. Your trading data, it can't lie. It shows you your entry, exit, and that P&L, right? You did that. Market's going to do whatever it's going to do. You decide when to hit the buy and sell button, where that stop loss goes, where that take profit goes, and the results are 100% on you. So for me, my results say stop jumping in too quickly. But right now, we're getting close. I'm going to watch to see if we crack these 305s and, dropping CVD. Sellers trying to hold this. Doesn't look bad for a quick wick back down. I don't know that we come all the way back to VWAP. I don't know, maybe that we just come and test this overnight high again or just into the middle round of this, just below the 6,300s. It would give me a way to structure risk for a little pullback. And if we do pop higher one more time, I'm either dead wrong because we just blast through. We start heading towards the 20s quickly. But I like this off of the 10s, if not the 05s. But I got a timer sitting on me right now. So waiting for at least 940. But that's my game plan. Short the pop. Could break 63.10, then nothing on bookmap. Scott, I am looking at the same thing, bro. The same thing me and Scott are looking at right now. Show you guys bookmap in a minute, but that's what I'm looking at. 63.10s have 129, 128, 122. The 05s we just filled. So honestly, Scott, I don't know that we even go hit the 310s. If we do, I really like the short, right? Because I'm either dead wrong and we blast through that and we go and hit the 20s where my stop loss is going to be, or we get a little bit of reversion, right? Part of my trading is to say, okay, where's the level I want to get involved? How do I structure risk? How am I going to manage this? But I love a clean invalidation to say completely wrong. No rejection off of this area. Buyers are in store. They're running this thing higher. We're going to head right back past some daily highs today, and we're not going to turn here. And that would give me a chance to do it up here. But again, I'm waiting down a countdown timer. Almost there, almost there for the time frame that I like to wait until I can start trading. What's up, everybody? Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Apps. Good morning, Jess, Andrew. Andrew again. Wolf, what is up? Wolf again. What's going on, man? Good to talk to you again. Ralph, Christy, AVS, Phoenix. Good morning. Good morning. IT with P, what's up? What's going on, people? Good to see you guys. Stefan, what's going on? Nate, good morning. Everybody, good morning, chat. Welcome back to the show. Streamed for London. That was fun. Yeah, guys, I'm gonna look at the 310s. That's my game plan. Short off the 310s. One more pop to the upside, cracking above that level. I'm looking short for a pullback down. We might get it right here. I'm gonna look for a little bit better entry all the way up here. We pushed this high already. But we got sellers that look like they don't want to let it run just yet. I'm going to go for the 310, see if we can get it. That would be really aggressive. Again, really, really aggressively short. But if we cracked up here, gave me an entry somewhere up here, I got my stop at least above these highs, right? If we came and danced up a little bit more, I might survive that. We turn and burn from here. Yeah, here we go. Let's see. Let's see. Again, guys, this is aggressive, right? Because we are bullish today. We're looking really strong right out of the gate, but no pullback. No pullback. I like this for a fade. Let's see. Let's see. Waited patient, right? Wouldn't be too happy if I were short down here. Didn't get the 310s yet. Ooh, is that going to be it? Nah, we're gonna pop this. Buyer's still in play here. Ooh, maybe not. Maybe not. Heavy sell orders right above price here stepped in now, right? As soon as we started to come off of these 08s, we got 222 lots on the book now, right around the 307.5. We got some sellers getting involved here. I like this. I like this for a short. I want to see us fill and then look for a short. But we could just completely blast to the upside. There's not nothing on the book now up there, Scott. 320s I see, 313. But that's fresh. That's coming on the book around like 938. Not much past that. But come on, let's see if we can go grab these 310s, maybe even 315s on a really aggressive wick. And my first trade is going to be to fade this bad boy. We might turn here, though. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. See what we got. There we go. Here we go. Ooh, almost got distracted and missed it. Let's see what we got up here. I think we're going to get one more pop out of this. Not quite the 310s. Not quite. Ooh, close. Really close. I'm sitting on this one, guys. Sitting patient. Sitting patient. Let's see what we get up here, guys. I could be dead wrong looking to fade this, to be honest, but I like it from up here. We didn't get the 310s. I don't know that we do. Here's 945. Let's see. I think we're going to crack this little 15-minute open. Ooh, they pulled them. Did they pull that? No, it filled. It filled. There we go. Do we get follow through or we start to get that reaction here? Here's the question. Just giving this a second up here, guys, but I'm looking short.
Order filled.
I'm going to test it right there. I'm going to test this one right here. That's going to be an emergency take profit. Got some risk parameters from the overnight session. But I am short one. I'm short one ES off of these 610s. Finally filled up here. This is pretty aggressive. Again, I'm going to give myself just that 10-point risk all the way up through the 20s. We got a little bit at the 13s. I gave it a split second up here just to see this wick and sellers try to step in, but this could be dicey. This could definitely be dicey. I like this one for a really aggressive short on this initial pop off the open and drive higher. A sweep of this 15-minute opening range and a little bit of a pullback to give me a way to structure risk. But I am absolutely risking a face ripper here. That's my play. That's my initial play. Short from 310, 25. Waited patiently, waited for my time to trade, waited for my setup to come. Short off of this push higher, right around these highs that we are testing. Stop above these highs, all the way up past the 320s, just past the 320s by a tick. Seeing if we can't get some kind of a reaction back down. Again, this is very aggressively bullish. I have no way for a long in here. Zero way to structure risk on any way that makes sense to me at all, looking for a long. So no opportunity there whatsoever, even if I wanted to find a way in long. I think you would have had to take some kind of break to the upside already. So my play is short. See if we can't get a little bit of reaction here. Would really like to see a declining CVD, sellers to step back in, start taking this thing lower. You guys know what I'm going to do if we get that. I'm going to drag that stop loss into profit. That's the play. But as always, guys, appreciate you hopping on. Appreciate you being here, hanging out for the stream. Support me, support the channel, support yourself. Get yourself the best deal with code RDF. Or don't do anything. Do whatever you want to do. Free means free. 100% free trading. Oh, I want to do that. Almost every dang day. Now here for London and for New York. We'll see if burning the candle at both ends really starts to have a negative impact on me and my performance. But you guys will watch that live as well, as you do with everything. I'm going to drop the free Discord in the chat. We'll be more than happy to have you guys in there hanging out with me. Here we go. 100% free trading community. You guys know the drill. Throw that one in Twitter for you guys. Let's see. Filled a little bit more up here that we're sitting on the book, up at the 314s. The 320s near my stop do have quite a bit on the book. Interested to see if we can get some kind of reaction here. We did start to slow our roll as we came up. Started to get a little bit of reaction, but buyers are still driving this thing higher. Unfortunately, this 10-point stop is about as far as I want to run this, but I don't love having my stop really just on the other side of orders here at the 20s. But based on my entry, that's where it's got to be for right now. As you guys know, I am not a fan of moving stop loss farther away when you're in a losing trade or a trade that's at least in drawdown. I think that's just a death sentence to start to do. If it works out, it's even worse because you build that negative habit of doing that. So I'm going to take my L on this one and look for a follow-up trade if I have to. But it's going to suck because those 20s to 22.5s look pretty good for a reversion if we don't get it here. But I waited patiently, got my entry, traded off the level that I wanted to trade off of. This was my play from the beginning. So we'll see. It's either going to work out or not work out. Simple as that. Again, arbitrary take profit, just an emergency. Trump tweets something crazy. We rocket to the downside. I would want to be out at it the most for around that level. But I drag stop loss into profit. That's my trade management. If we move in my direction, if we move to the upside, I don't do anything like I'm doing right now. I don't start managing the trade. I don't start doing anything crazy. That's my trade management here on ES. If you were here for London, been playing around with some really aggressive, and I'm going to be playing around with some really aggressive scalping on NQ, and that's much more discretionary. Clipping losers, clipping winners, doing whatever I feel is going to be the right thing there. It's just a different approach. But this was strong out of the gate, man. Strong out of the gate. Yeah, I think we're going to get this pop to the 20s, man. Damn. I'd love to have my stop loss up at the 25s, 30s. But again, I'm wrong, right? I'm wrong from my level if we pop all the way through the 20s. So that's the part that I got to remember. But those 20s look good with the with 170 on the lot, 170 lots on the book right there for one more pop up, one more last ditch effort from buyers. If not, if we could start to drop off here, there's a little bit of volume to the downside. But let's see. Read the chat. I missed out chatting with you guys. See if we can't start dropping, or take that stop. Look for something else. What's up? What's up? Yeah, two extra entries for the giveaway. Yeah, not yet, guys. Not yet. Yep. We were looking at 63.14s, right? We went up and traded that, Scott. Yep, we did go and grab that. Andrew says best to wait. If you're looking at this volatility and you say, hey, I don't want to mess with that, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Zach, you going to do a giveaway today? Just kidding. We don't know. We don't know, guys. But if you're hopping on the stream late, you're new here, you don't know, we run giveaways on these streams. Not every single day, not every single stream, but random days, random times, we run 50K account giveaways, 100% free, no purchase necessary. Instant funded accounts, no challenge stuff, at least for right now. Shout out Top One Futures for supporting that. Scott says, I'm a deer in headlights right now. Look at that 30-minute candle. Yeah, search of a system where I can be a drone. Gotcha. Yeah, man, this can be tough, right? You know, a lot of people want to look long on this, right? But how do you do it? You press the long button, but where do you structure risk, right? Where do you throw a stop loss on this that makes sense? You can go just below a 5-minute bar low, by a couple consecutive bar lows. You could go, below an overnight low, a high or something like that, and just look to just get your way in, even lower time frame than I'm on. But this can be tough. Right? I think taking an immediate breakout most days is not going to play well, right? You can go back and back test that if you want. If you just bought the first 1-minute candle to the upside, right? Does that usually play the way that it would play like it did today, right? Where we just have zero pullback and we push higher? No, probably not. That's just my opinion. But today, shot out of a cannon right off the open, and really haven't had any pullback. This is the first start of one, and it ain't very big. A couple points to the downside. So let's see what we get here. Just hate having to think, yeah, Scott, I hear you, man. You know, I would say you could definitely, here we go. Maybe we get some sellers stepping in. Oh, there's some volume behind that. I like that last one. Got to get through the like the 306s really before I'd be looking to start to do anything. Would really want to come down here through the 306s where we've got 168 on the book. Really start finding some sellers to bring us back down towards this 6,300 pretty quickly. But before that, I'm not doing anything. This just has to come back on me if it has to come back on me. Again, let's see the 306s. Yeah, that's only 4.5 points in profit. We start cracking down below that level, back down towards right here where we'd be at over a 1-to-1, just over a 1-to-1, the 6,300s. I like that for some trade management. But yeah, Scott, I think, you know, you're going to have to think, right? I talk about that sometimes. I went on that hunt for a 100% mechanical rules-based system where you could just trade like a machine, or you could code it into a bot or an EA and kick back drinking margaritas. And I was never able to find anything, right? I was never able to make that work. And I know people talk about bots and EAs and coding simple stuff, and if that works for you, great. You know, I tell that story about having a conversation with, you know, PhD software engineers and longtime traders, and kind of, you know, my thought process on that. But I believe to be a manual trader, a successful, you know, manual trader, the way that we are, you got to apply some discretion. I think you have to have basic rules. You have to have some consistency. You got to do the same thing over and over and over again. But I think it's also important to give yourself some freedom, some flexibility to apply that intuition, that discretion, the discernment of whatever tools you're using, right? Even if you're not using price action and market structure and volume, because edge, you know, comes into play there, right? Patterns repeat themselves. If you stare at the charts long enough, right, in the way that you want to become a good read of the market, again, maybe you're using fundamentals, different tools than me, EMAs, and, you know, Bollinger Bands or whatever. You're going to have discretion that starts to get built, right? You're going to have experience, and you can utilize that. And I avoided doing that for a long period of time in a search of not having to think. And unfortunately, I think we have to have that. There's an upside and downside to discretion, right? Performance aspect comes in. You could be off your game. Your discretion could suck. More variables, right? More inconsistent equity curve. But I just don't see really any like consistent traders, manual traders, the way that we're looking at a chart and hitting the buy or sell button, that apply no discretion, that trade a 100% objective rules-based system over a long period of time that do well. I just don't see it ever. Some guys are very systematic. They have a lot of rules, but even they are usually applying some discretion. So that's my 2 cents, right? That's what what I've built as far as a belief system. Watching this thing right back down to entry. I'd like to see this thing start to dip, like I said. It'll come right back on me, right? I'm not going to do anything here. If it has to come back on me, stop me out. It has to come back on me, stop me out. I want to see this thing continue down, really through the 06s into the 05s to start to get some momentum to the downside. Give me a way to structure risk to drag behind price. Otherwise, bulls are just going to take it higher. We're not going back to VWAP. You know, maybe we're not going back to overnight high, and this is going to be just a hell of a drive higher. We're going to put a huge daily candle in before that 2 p.m. time frame. We're going to blast through all-time highs, and you know that's going to be that. So it's possible, very, very possible, right? Oh, let me pull this back over. Yeah, we had a nice drop off in a really nice drop off in CVD. We went from like positive 6,500. What was the high up here? 6,700. We dropped all the way down. Shaved a few thousand off that. We were dropping into the 3,000s. Yeah, 3,700. So that looked really good looking at volume to the downside, starting to pick up. But here we go. And I think one more crack of this high is going to be to the 20s where my stop is if we do it. If we take, everybody out, maybe that's getting short, like me, right in here, that now got short on the way down. Again, I got short on the way up right here, guys, if you hopped on late. That's just a tough spot to have a stop. But I'm just not comfortable taking on more risk. And even more so than that, even if I am, I don't move my stop farther away from price in drawdown. That's not my play. Not my play. Not my play. So let's see what we get up here. In the market's hands now, at least for now. What happened to my music, man? It got real quiet on here. There we go. There we go. Lol. Oh no. I don't know what I was probably talking about something a minute ago. Because it's a process using an objective, rules-based system. I play probabilities. Always going over my trades, make sure the market has shifted. Yeah, again, first off, guys, I'm an idiot, right? And definitely not the best trader. Don't have it figured out, right? I repeat that on almost every. I try to repeat that on every live, right? Just so you kind of know where I'm at. Like 6 years in the markets. Not as many trading, like really hyper focused on intraday trading. Definitely not that long in the futures market, and no massive huge P&Ls and live accounts and number one best trader in the world, have it all figured out. None of that stuff, right? Regular idiot looking to make some money in the markets, trading live for free with you guys here, running a free community, right? So I'm not saying like, hey, I know this to be true and this is the fact and you can't make money with that system, right? Trading, I think, is one of those things that's half science, half art. And there's way more than one way to do it. And right about the time that you think you figured out the only way to do it, somebody else comes and smokes you doing it a completely different way. So for me personally, right, I talk about that story. I spent a lot of time when I first came over to Forex, and attempting to get profitable, right, and start to get consistency. I hate to use that term profitable because like you turn a page one day and now it's all roses and rainbows, which never happens. But I spent a lot of time trying to take myself completely out of the equation, trying to make it a 100% objective, rules-based system that a baby could trade, right? And I was using very simple tools because I thought that was what you were supposed to do. I thought you were supposed to trade like a machine. You had to solve this big, mathematical equation. It had to be, complex, but I was using somewhat simple tools. And that for me never worked. It didn't work for a long period of time. Even using systems that, I was, sold on, essentially looking like the best thing ever, looking at the results from other people, all this type of stuff. So I don't, for me, that never played. And what really was a solidifying, I actually found it. Hang on one second, guys. I'm going to see if I can find the name tag so you can at least halfway believe this story is true. Hang on one second. Ooh, starting to get some selling pressure. Hang on one second. But someone remind me, the Forex.com, talking to PhD software developers about coding and making bots and kind of what's available and not available to us retail traders. All right, here we go to the downside. Yeah, guys, I'm going to look to trail this bad boy. I'm going to let it bounce here. We might bounce, but I want to break through the 05s. As soon as we do, I'm dragging tightly down because I think we might react right off of these 05s. So I'm going to drag really tightly down behind price. But I'm going to give it some room to bounce back up here and kind of dance around, break even, or come back up on me, even if it has to. Because we got some orders right here. We got some orders buy side right here. And oftentimes we don't just rip through it, right? Especially if we're pushing the upside. Now, these could act as support, and we might just take off from here and go stop me out. But I'd love to see us start to come through this. Scott, if you're watching it, other guys that watch the Dom, I'm looking at 63.07. We got some orders right below price right here. Obviously, we have quite a bit today. But I'm looking at 63.07 lit up on Bookmap, the 06s and the 05s. 132 on the book down at the 305s. 63.06 has about 162. I want to see us come through that. So I'm going to give us a little bit of room to breathe here. A little bit of room to breathe here after that started to show me just a little bit of profit, because it would have been a stop out for break even. I'm confident that would have just been a stop out for break even. I want to let this thing bounce. We come up through the 315s with force now on this push. This could be trouble. This could be trouble. So let's see if we can come through it. See if we can come through it. Maybe go grab the 300s. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, I don't like how we didn't come right through it on the way down. Need to see it blast lower right here. Otherwise, this could be trouble. Come on, ES, what you got for me today, man? What do you got for me today, ES? There we go. We're going to try this low again. I'm coming to break even now on this, guys. Again, wanted to allow a bounce here. Now I want to see this come through. I don't want to see us come back up. Otherwise, I'm just going to stop myself out. Waited for it to pull back. Waited for it to come down. We're coming down, hitting the low. If we pull back up on this again, I think we're headed to the upside. I want to see us come through these 07s all the way down to the 05s right now. I'm going to drag tightly behind price. Let's see. Yeah, right off the low. Filled. I took a stop on that one. That was just a hair tight. Damn. That was just a little bit too tight. I think we're going to grab these 05s right now and maybe the 300s. Yeah, it was a little bit tight with that stop loss into profit. $307s, $306s. Yeah, could have grabbed a little bit more on that one. Let's see where we bounce, though. I would have been looking for the 05s right down here. We didn't come and hit, so interested to see. But I think we come down a little bit lower than we just did. We'll see. We'll see what we get. Popping right off the right around the 06s. Yeah, it was a little bit tight with that one. Just a little bit tight with that one. All right, not bad. Starting out with a small W. We'll see if leaving this thing wider would have played nicely or if we come right the hell back up on this. Let's see. Let's see what we get. Careful with the news. Don't like traffic and below. Yeah, this is a little bit dicey. Same. You're definitely not an idiot. Trying to be a happy idiot. You shouldn't call yourself an idiot. Words are powerful. Yeah. Again, I like to. I agree with that, Winston. For sure, man. You know, I like to say stuff like that to really counter what you hear so many people talk about on social media and the way they talk about themselves and this, like, you know, I think believing in yourself, having confidence in yourself, right? You know, speaking well about yourself is good. But I really like to contradict what you see most of the time, which is, I'm the best in the world. I'm the #1 best ever. Like you know, it's like all those coffee shops that put like best coffee in New York, like #1 cup of coffee. Like, according to who, bro? You know. So, you know, I like to kind of just do the opposite and say, you know, we don't have an ego over here, right? You know, that's kind of the deal. Yeah, popping back up on this, but where I was going before that. But I agree with you. Maybe I won't call myself. I'll still probably call myself an idiot, but maybe I'll tone it back a little bit. Same story on repeat mode. NQ going up, YM going down, ES hanging in the middle. Yep. So here was the comment. We were talking about objective rules based systems. I tried to build those out for a long period of time and trade them. Excuse me. And I could never make that work, right? And I was starting to grab some consistency, and I was listening to guys that were very discretionary, very, very discretionary, trading extremely simple systems, right? And I was just starting to lean into that, or had been maybe leaning into that a little bit more. And I had gone to the Forex.com in-person event down in Miami. I don't know how many years ago this was, but I was cleaning out a drawer, and I actually found the Forex.com name tag. There's the StoneX little lanyard, whatever the hell that's worth to anybody, because I tell this story often because it was just a little bit pivotal in my trading. And I went down there by myself, hung out, met their team, met the guy that was managing the accounts, right? It was for guys that you didn't need that much money to be a VIP or, be getting an APR with them, but I had a little bit of money with them. Anyway, in a live account. I got invited down, cool. So I'm sitting there having little bit of appetizers, whatever. And I sat down with random dudes, and it was two brothers. One was a PhD software developer, trader of like 20 years. The other one was more on like the sales and marketing side. Really nice guys. And it turned into like a 2.5 hour, almost like 3 hour conversation where we hung out for a long time just chatting. And when they told me what they did, which was we code bots, right? We code bots for the Forex market for traders that want to automate their strategy. The first thing I said was like, does that work, guys? Does it work at all? You can be honest with me. I'm not interested, but like, tell me about this because I've never seen it work. And I see all these guys sell these little $100 bots or, code your EMA crossover, whatever it is. And here's what they said to me. Here's was the basis of the conversation. The vast majority, right? Upwards into the high 90% do not work. 100% objective rules-based strategies. The small amounts that do need to be monitored closely, adjusted all of the time, and have really creative and dynamic ways to manage risk. They also need to be really, really flexible when it comes to not trading through certain times, news, when it shuts off, that whole type of deal. But again, even those ones that seem to work according to them, right, who do it for a living and get paid a pretty penny, need to be monitored, and they need to be adjusted because they don't work forever before they start to fail. What they also let me know, which was interesting, right? Just their opinion, their experience, was that they have traders come to them, profitable, consistent, professional traders in the Forex market. And these guys are not the like sell $100 bot type of guys. These are 5 figures just to talk to them, to have them test your strategy with bots and EAs and try to adjust it and make it make sense. Like signing agreements to be able to either utilize it or not utilize it, not disclose it. But what they said was 9 out of 10 traders that came to them, like solid professional traders, right, that would want to get their system coded into a bot or EA, their systems would fail, their strategy would fail. And it's not because they weren't making money with it, and it's not because it wasn't a good strategy, but it was because, whether they thought so or not, they were applying some discretion. They were applying their subjective interpretation of price action, either by filtering trades, by waiting, not waiting, taking some trades, not taking some trades. 9 out of 10. And some guys, they said, would argue with them, right? And say, no, it's 100% objective. Here's the rules, everything, blah, blah, blah. They would say, record yourself trading. Record yourself, record your screen, record every session for the next month, and we'll tell you where you're applying that discretion. So based on that conversation, I put to bed my hunt for a mechanical, rules-based objective system. I don't feel that we as normal retail traders would be able to create something that would really create a really nice positive return over a long period of time. You might find something that works for short periods, during trending markets, during consolidating markets, ranging markets, but overall, they seem to fail. So it was just my own personal experience, and then conversations with some solid traders. So that's my 2 cents, right? I think, and what I see is applying discretion. applying discretion, applying your intuition within reason, knowing where you're going to apply it and not apply it is important. But 100% objective rules-based strategies that you can just throw some EMAs on and make money that way, I think using them as a guide, right? Using them where you're gonna stick to that for a long period of time, it could be a good thing. But always taking the same trade like a complete machine or just coding into a bot or an EA, I just haven't seen it, guys. So if you have one, I would love to do a case study. I make videos, I make YouTube videos, I talk here live. If you have anything like that, if there's anyone listening to this now or in the future where you have a 100% objective, no subjectivity at all, meaning market generated information, I could find it the same way you could find it on your chart using, objective tools, I would love to hear from you. First off, I'd love the strategy so I could just not do this anymore and hang out, right, and make money. But if you don't want to give that up, I'd love to hear about it. I'd love to talk to you because, again, I've yet to find it, not once, right? Outside of these gentlemen who had systems that they ran, right, algorithms that they ran. But again, even that, they were open about saying they are adjusting them. They are constantly monitoring them. It's not passive. It's very active. And those adjustments continue to have to take place and that they start to fail. Things start to change. Market dynamics start to shift. This market is very different than the pre-Trump market, right? COVID market, very different than this market. Summer slump when we start to consolidate, maybe different than, when we start to come into really different heavy earnings seasons, right? So constant adjustment, not something on autopilot that you just throw on there. So anyway, that's kind of the long-winded explanation for that. But again, I don't know everything, and you might find something that works beautifully for you, right? That's what I really agree. And maybe it's out there, So that's my explanation of discretionary. Luna Trades, what's up? Did I wake up for London? I did wake up for London. Back and forth, ended up small red, trading across 3 different 50K accounts that I loaded up. But it was fun. Traded NQ, much more aggressive, scalpy style of discretionary trading with price action. Did it yesterday. Oh, it's awesome, dude. Yeah, it's fun. It was fun, man. Guys, if you don't know Luna Trades, make sure you click on his profile on YouTube. I said the same thing last time. He's a hidden crypto whale. He is the man that just moved all that Bitcoin that I saw. No, just kidding. Little after open. Yeah, no, it's fun. Different markets, slow moving markets. So it was cool. Yeah, fun to do. I'm going to do it again. Again, I'm running it this week, so I'll try to wake up. We'll see how long I can actually keep this rolling, but that's my game plan, guys. Cool to hang with different chats too. Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Train with Luan, the more we ask what time's the giveaway, the more he enjoys the stream. No, no, don't do that. It's funny though. I'm learning Bitcoin is for boomers. I like the European crew, multicultural. Yeah, no, streaming. So like what happened, right? First off, I used to wake up and trade London. That's when I really got aggressive trying to get some consistency. I used to wake up and trade London in the middle of the night. And I tell that story often. But I was going back to my hometown with my wife for 4th of July. Our flight got canceled, and I had to fly the next morning. So I wasn't going to be able to trade for New York on Thursday. So I was like, you know what? It's already late as hell. I got to be up stupid early, like right after the stream at 5 a.m. or whatever time it was that I ended on last week. I went right to the flight. So I ran it, and I had a whole bunch of people hop on, like big numbers, and a whole bunch of people that I would never connect with, right? Just like Luna said, European crew, other side of the world. So that's cool. That's like, a big part of why I like to do this is to just meet different traders, hear from different people's stories, different perspectives. It's such a benefit to me personally and guys that stream. It really is to have a community where you hear so much from so many other people and learn. But so that was cool, and ran it back today. Going to run it back the rest of the week. I'm going to try to. I'm going to call it out, and if I change something, I'll let you guys know in Discord. But we'll see how long I can keep this rolling before I really start overdosing on caffeine to stay up. But yeah, it was cool. I appreciate you guys hopping on. I appreciate everybody that hops on now for 9:30. And I don't think that there's a lot of guys in New York time zone or even, West Coast time zone that stream live for London. There was a couple in the Forex market that I used to watch, but not very many in the futures market. And outside of just having it be open season because I'm the only one streaming and I get a bunch of views from it, it's fun. Also gives me some freedom and flexibility to scalp around on NQ, which I always like to do. But talked about it a little bit on in the chat yesterday as well. Will also help me kind of consolidate prop firm accounts, right? I've got my 7-pack that I'm trading live here with you guys for New York. I got a 3-pack now that I'm not copy trading, but I'm going to just bounce back and forth between. Very experimental, right? I haven't traded accounts with intraday trailing drawdown with ESS score, so you're going to watch how this plays out right here live. I haven't traded London on NQ for any really extended period of time, so you guys are going to watch how that plays out live too. And having those two separated is cool. And that also gives me time to focus on my live account, which I'm excited to have. Live personal brokerage set up, making some money in that one already, but that's going to be off stream, just personal stuff. But I want to have dedicated time to do that. And it can get to be a lot to manage all of these different accounts. You get accounts all over the place, a whole bunch of them, many with different firms. It gets to be a lot to manage. You got to try to find ways to trade them without just YOLOing and taking stupid trades, which I felt myself, starting to slip recently in doing. So I'm excited to kind of separate some accounts, have a good game plan, slow down a little bit, right, on the trying to turn a massive profit from prop firm payouts and just look to trade well, hopefully getting considered for a live account if I make it through, if and when that comes, and then make some nice profit, pay the bills, or lose some real money because there's a lot on the line in a live account, but do that in a live account, personal brokerage. So excited to do that. But talked about sim farming, talked about some of the space changing, talked about firms really wanting to see consistent trading and being wildly aggressive with prop firms starting to go away, that opportunity diminishing. So I think it's also a good time to focus on a live account, right? Get set up with a broker, get set up with a platform that you like, test some different stuff out, maybe go really, really light, money-wise on the front end if you're testing new things out, but get comfortable with that. I don't think prop firms are going anywhere. I don't think trading's going anywhere either, but I do see the space changing, right? And I think the opportunity to really aggressively trade that I felt myself go towards with Top Step can be lucrative. You can make some good money, but it's really not good trading, and it's being tightened. Payout caps continue to get tighter. Rules continue to get tighter. They're limiting, how much you can buy. They're flagging people very quickly. Top One Futures has been really clear about that from the beginning. They are not looking for sim farmers, for guys churning and burning and rolling accounts on the way to payouts. Not going to fly. And not that you can't turn good money in the sim environment on the way to a live account with prop firms trading nice and consistently. I think you certainly can. But what does that opportunity really look like? Is it hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, that some of us are looking to make, in the markets? It's a lot harder if you're not being stupid aggressive, right? So that's my thought process there. Copy trading some accounts individually, different times of the day to be trading. Live account that I'm testing with a pretty light amount of money for me to start. Get comfortable on a new platform, which I'm pretty excited to do. And look to keep this show rolling, man. Just trying to get paid in prop firm trading. It's like being a rookie all over again. Yeah, no, for sure. I agree. I did it to myself as well. I slowed myself way down, right? I came from first crypto, losing money, just like trying to trade crypto, but not really paying too much attention. First stocks, actually, then crypto, and then Forex, where I got real serious. But when I came to Forex, I was just trading a live account. I bounced myself back to demo a couple of times, but I was trading an account that I had no business trading. No reason to put that much size on and lose a lot of money. And by the time I started with Forex prop firms, right, those challenges were a lot of money. They were like $1,000, some of them $1,200 for the big ones. That wasn't a whole lot of risk compared to what I was risking in live accounts. And then when I came over to futures, we're talking like really inexpensive accounts, and working yourself towards slow, small payouts relative to what I was risking and losing or making in live accounts, right? But I think that's important. Slow yourself down. If you can make it happen with prop firms and you can start getting funded and taking payouts, especially some consistent ones, you are really building the skills to be able to be a great risk manager. And I think it can limit downside risk. It can be a great opportunity to leverage other people's money. I really do think that. But, I'm down the middle, and I try to be with what I think is a really great opportunity, and sometimes the dream that we get sold, on with everything, with trading in general, but oftentimes with prop firms, right? Like, I don't think you're going to turn a huge profit and make a really nice living off of one, 50K challenge account. I don't think so. I think it's going to take a little bit more than that, right? I think it can be done, but I don't think most of the guys on prop firm leaderboards got there trading and only blowing a couple of accounts. Unfortunately, a lot of them got there sim farming, but that's a whole nother conversation. So anyway, that's my rant for today. Prop firms, great opportunity. Live accounts, great opportunity. Bottom line, learn how to trade. Focus on the actual trading itself. If you can do it well with prop firms, you could do it well in a live account. Don't get stuck playing the sim game or, trying to become a sim farmer. So it's tempting to do. Anyway, here we are chopping back around the 306s. I would have definitely gotten stopped even on a little bit more of a dip down here. We didn't trade the 05s that I was looking for. Had I left this thing alone, I'd be in more profit than when I closed, but not a bad entry, right? Entered right here on the way up, 310.25. It was a key level. We obviously found some sellers here. We started to drift lower. This looks good to the downside. Dropping CVD, aggressively dropping CVD. This looks really good to the downside. Back down to the 300s, maybe to VWAP. Looks like we had that really strong drive off the open, and now we're coming back down to chop around before some 2 p.m. news. Yeah, there's the knife. Yeah, that one would have paid, guys. That one definitely would have paid a 1-to-1, but not my style here with these intraday trailing drawdown accounts. Attempting to drag into profit, but was a little bit tight on that one. I don't know that I would have liked to sit through all of that, but this one gets filed under allowing the thing to move in my direction before trailing. Would have been nice. Look at that, all the way right back down to VWAP. Now, do we start to bounce down here? Or I don't think so. I don't think we do. I think we chop around. We come down towards the 90s. This looks like sellers are in store. Quite a bit of volume on Bookmap. You can see it down here on the traditional volume. I think we come down. 290s got 227 on the book down there. 232. Again, CBD helping on that one for sure. Started to really drop off as we started to fade here. And here we are right back down towards VWAP. So, sorry if you got long. No, I don't think we have news right now. No. We have crude oil inventories coming up in about 2 minutes. So, no news right there, guys. Scott, okay, what on news? I've been trading since 2000. Enzo, what's up, man? Or Enso, I don't know exactly how to say it. I've been trading since 2000. That's a long time, man. Long time. Discretion is a big part developed from thousands of hours of screen time. Agree. And unfortunately, there's no substitute for that. That's why I think it takes longer than what most people talk about, to start making money trading. I think it takes a few years just to really build that discretion. But you even just continue to get better and better and better watching the same thing play out over and over and over again. Thousands of hours of screen time. There's no substitute for that. There's nothing you can buy that will substitute that. There's just not. Just like anything else, any other sport or profession, who comes in and in 12 months has it all figured out, I must be a farmer for now. No, Scott, there's a difference between, learning to trade with prop firms and losing a lot of accounts and going on tilt and having some bad days and intentionally exploiting the sim environment aggressively, right? Having a calculated way to do that, which is pretty straightforward on how to do that. But if you guys need me to describe it, I can in detail so you can draw a distinction between the two. of what will get you banned and what will not. Bookmap looks hella confusing right now. Let's look at Bookmap. You said that a little while ago. We started to come through some liquidity to downside. This didn't look too bad. Yeah, again, I think we're going to the 90s. There we go. Damn, man, couldn't have held on for that cliff. Let's see. I'm interested to see what happens around these 90s. But we completely erased the positive cumulative volume delta that we've had. Obviously, price is selling right back off through VWAP. We could bounce right here, overnight high and VWAP. Also, the bottom of our opening range, right? Bottom of our initial balance that is really, really just set. Ooh, right down to the 90s. Aggressive, man. Aggressive. Super aggressive selling pressure. I don't know that I want to get involved on this. Gun to my head, I'd be long. Gun to my head, I'm long right here off the 90s, like I just said. Look at that. But I'm not going to put something on. That's too aggressive. I faded it pretty quick. Again, was watching the 90s. That was the last ditch of liquidity that we had sitting on the book that came down and filled. This is a lot of selling pressure. I could look for a bounce on that, but that's pretty damn aggressive. That's a lot of volume. That's the most volume traded all day on that individual bar if you take a look at it, just down on traditional volume. Yeah, a lot of selling pressure. So I'm going to hang tight and kind of see where we go from here. But I've completely erased the move to the upside, right? Here was our pop off the open and then drifting right back down. So classic frustrating market. I could see a larger movement today. Ooh, yeah, seller's still in on this. I think we bounce here. But I'm not going to try that. Too aggressive. Way too aggressive. I was anticipating potential for a larger movement, right? Outside of that inside bar from yesterday. But ahead of 2 p.m. FOMC meeting minutes, oftentimes it's just kind of back and forth. You don't get like a huge directional trend day, into that. Oftentimes, right? Just basic discretion and intuition on, what happens around certain times. That was some heavy selling pressure came right in. Again, like I said, I think we bounce here off the 90s, but it's too aggressive for me today. I really just don't want to risk the face ripper on that one. I'd rather just wait to see what we get coming off of these lows. We had 82 come on the book down here. We had 62, 82, 82.25 come on the book. There's not much down below. There's really not much down below. I mean, we could completely turn this day around. Not to hop out to the daily, but we could completely turn this day around. I don't think that we do that. I think we kind of chop around where we're at here, come and hang out around VWAP. So that's why I could see this thing. That's why I could see this thing long. But yeah, this is interesting. Let's see if being stupid aggressive off the 90s would play, right? Called that level out a couple times. That, if I was jumping into something super aggressive, that's it right there. We actually didn't hit it on this candle right here, but we wicked down one more time. So I'm interested to see what that looks like, right? Kind of just marking out. It's going to give me another opportunity. Just marking out like what a trade idea would look like if I jumped into something really aggressively. Let's see what happens as we come through this level again. Starting to flatten out down here, man. I don't know. One more dip, maybe? Or we go right back through VWAP. Or do we just, the bottom fall out again and we just sell off? Hmm. Yeah, guys, I know I'm kind of locked in here, but I'm eyeballing a trade. I think it's just too aggressive. I'm not going to. I'm gonna watch what happens as we break this low. That's my plan. I think we could see a pop right back up off of this, and if we just sell off through it, no, not yet. Let's see, do we find support at prior day high? Ooh, big knife lower. 80s, maybe all the way down to the 75s where we got 133 on the book. Let's see. Damn, anybody get short on that? This would have paid. This would have paid. Yeah, I'm going to look at the 75s. I'm going to look at the 75s for potential. I think that would be really aggressive. I think that would be a pretty nice sell back off into this area of high volume down here. I don't know that we just blast through overnight low and completely flip this day. This might be all we do, though. Damn, yeah, we're going to get the bounce off this. Watching this for a long, guys. I'm gonna miss my opportunity if I hang out too much longer, but it's just kind of aggressive after a big move like that. I like this long back towards VWAP, but I really didn't get the 85s to fill the way that I would have liked. That would have been really clean if we cleaned out the 85s. There's 162 on the book down there, just the way that I utilize Bookmap. I'd love to see that last bit of liquidity get filled, and then not blast through to the 75s for a quick move back to VWAP. But this might be buyer stepping in. Volume starting to flatten out a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna wait on this one. That was aggressive. I'm gonna hang out on this one. I think long back to VWAP, but I'm not gonna play it. I'm not gonna take it. Gave me a chance there, but I'm not gonna jump in. Not gonna jump in just yet. Let's see. What's up, guys? Let's see what we got going on in chat. No news. What the F? Just not enough coffee for this. Yeah, FOMC ministers today, right? Yeah, 2 p.m. minutes. FOMC minutes today. Dow was at lows with NASDAQ following too. Okay. Yeah, minutes later on. Bought 2,300 for a quick scalp. What's up? What's up, man? Nice. Quick scalp, 380. Very nice. 88s or 80s possible support in ES. Yeah. I think if we crack, it could be the 75s. But this looked like a quick move back towards VWAP. I like the 90s initially, right? That's why I marked this. On the way down, I said that a couple times. We had some liquidity right here. We started to see some build at 85. If we swept that and we pulled this move, I wouldn't mind being long back up towards VWAP, back up for a crack above. I think that's where we're headed right now. Just looking at this on Bookmap, just wasn't beautiful enough for me to take something like that because that's aggressive, right? I'm buying after a really aggressive high volume, knife to the downside. So that's my play, just kind of hanging here. What's the question? One question. This is VWAP, volume weighted average price. Volume weighted average price. This is under the indicators tab. Standard settings. I just changed the color. That's it. FOMC ministers. I meant FOMC. Trump. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, it was a Trump comment, right? Beautiful. Any Wolf says any country aligning themselves with anti-American policies will be charged an additional 10% tariff. There will be no exceptions. Exception says, well, yeah, Truth Social. Yeah, the market essentially just moves on Trump's tweets. That's what moves the markets. Forget about the market makers, guys, and you don't have to study ICT. You could study, it's ICT. It's just IC Trump. It's just a crazy market that we're in. Headline markets. 10-year auction. Yeah. Took them 80s as well. 2 out of 2. See you tomorrow. Awesome, man. Wrap it up. Got somebody finishing in the chat. Awesome, man. Love that. Damn. Just taking a look at news over the side. NVIDIA becomes the first company to reach 4 trillion market cap. Wow. Let's see what this market's got for us, guys. Let's see what we got. Appreciate you hopping on as always. You know the drill. Smash like, smash subscribe. You don't have to do anything. You can do whatever you want. But morning, Zach in chat. Hope all is well. Just got out of those cells. Thanks, bro. Someone did a super chat somewhere. Kobe, what's up? That's the dude who won yesterday. Won the account and the $100 cash bonus. What's going on, Kobe? I don't even know how you do that. That's dope, dude. Appreciate you. Scott, at least in our own minds, ICT should be dub. I see Trump. I'm going to make it. Kobe, giving back to the stream. You're amazing. Yeah, you guys are awesome, dude. You guys are really awesome. I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, Kobe won yesterday. Won the 50K account. And he guessed, not only did he guess his number, because the way that I do these giveaways, not that we're doing one right now, guys, nobody freak out, but the way that I do these giveaways is random days, random times, form drops. And you fill a form out and you get a number, and then I do a random number generator. But I let you guys guess what your number is going to be. And if you hit your number and you win, which Kobe did yesterday, I do an additional cash bonus. Something light, right? $100 cash, send it right over to you. Not only did he hit all of that, before I even said guess your number, throw your number in the chat, he was the one who put a number 33 in the chat. So that was wild yesterday. Absolutely wild. Haven't seen it happen. I didn't know that anybody's going to hit it so quick, but really fun to do, man. That was crazy. That was crazy. Like I said, I'm going to be doing more with that. We'll do more with like a guess your number, and maybe there'll be some small bonus, something else, I don't know if it'll be cash or an account. I'll have to think of something creative. And if you just guess your number, right, that could be fun. But more ways to win. But that was cool, man. That was cool. Congrats, Kobe, yesterday on winning not only the account, picking the number, and being the first person before I even asked to say that we were going to do the number thing to throw a number in the chat. So that was wild. That was wild. But yeah, man, hope the account serves you well. I think you said you had a couple accounts, right? You were working on, so you were going to throw that one on back up for now. But hope it serves you well, man. The giveaway stuff is fun. Shout out Top One, Tap One. Shout out Top One for supporting that stuff. I think it's fun to give back, man. I really enjoy it. I want to do even more of it, which is why I'm talking about other fun ways to do it. Definitely going to do even more of it. I have a really fun time doing it, and I used to love having a chance to win something on stream, even just like a reset or a discount and stuff like that. So to give out multiple straight to funded accounts every week and some cash on a small stream, right, relative to the other stuff that you see out there, I'm grateful for everybody on here, and it's growing like crazy every day. Even right now, I'm looking at the people that are on here across multiple platforms, so I'm grateful for it. But yeah, it's a pretty good chance to win on my stream. Pretty good chance to win. Yeah, the whales all left bookmap. Yeah, well, something just came on, Scott, right before you, right after you said that. This looks like the bounce back to VWAP. Looks like these 85s want to hold, but I don't know that I want to get involved down here. Starting to chop, starting to consolidate. Yep. We got buyers stepping in, raising that cumulative volume delta. We got 500 right here that we're going to come into buy side. Let's see if what happens when these fill right here. Ooh, there we go. Heavy volume right there filling. Does that hold, or do we drive lower now? I think that holds and we crack right back up to VWAP. Let's see. Not enough to jump in long on this. Again, this would be from the extreme style trade, right? From the extreme up here, from the extreme down here. This just doesn't look appetizing enough off of this level, right? Initial play right here would have probably given me a way to structure risk, bouncing 6 points off the 90s. Didn't take that. Now I'm waiting to see if we get the 80s, maybe 75s. If we really aggressively sell off, yeah, we're not cracking. We're not holding that. So, Scott, that's an interesting one. Or you guys that watch Bookmap, not to just talk to one person on here, but you guys that watch Bookmap, you watch order flow. We had 500 some odd orders come on the book, just filled. Broke that. Now we're starting to drive lower. Let's see if we go grab those 80s. Again, I'm still interested long on this. Call me crazy. I wouldn't mind it long off these 80s if we came and grabbed this. One more wick lower. I might try it. The 75's got some on the book down there. If we start to sell off really aggressively, we could just continue this, start selling off super aggressively. But to get in long, like let's say below the 80s, would give me a pretty good way to structure risk on this. Down below the 70s would be pretty nice. But maybe we just get one more little wick here. I'm not taking it from up here. But I like a back to VWAP move. We sliced through it pretty damn aggressively, man. So I think we move lower first. Not enough that I want to take a short, a continuation style trade. So I'm going to watch the 6280s here on Bookmap. Yeah, that might be all we see right here. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna wait for my level. See if we can't get something off the 6280s. See if we find some buyers down there. Let's see what the market's got for us today. Let's see. Randy, what's up, man? Finally made it. There we go. Coming to test these 80s. Looks like I'll tag the EU lows and then decide. Potentially could be all the way down. I'm looking at this finding some support lower, support higher. Can't seem to find a bottom yet. Nope, not yet. Volume. Yep. Afternoon trade. I might be long. Haven't found a bottom yet. Pretty crazy price action though. Big drive at the open. No pullback. No nothing. Started to drift here. Sell off super aggressively through VWAP, cracking back into yesterday's range. Let's see. We're sitting right here around the 80s area that I was looking to get involved. Didn't feel liquidity there just yet, but I'm eyeballing along from down here. Mmm. 80 and a tick. We traded 80 and a tick. Let's see. That might be the start of a bounce there. There's a little bit of volume behind that. Still like this long, guys.
Order
I'm
filled.
getting long on this. That's going to be my play. I'm getting long on this, and I'm going to let the market do what it's got to do because I got to step away for about 5 minutes. I'm going to leave this trade running with you guys here watching it for me. Don't do anything crazy, guys. Yeah, we're going to go long right back to VWAP. See you guys in about 5 minutes. I'll be back shortly. Chair, you're in charge. What's up, guys? That was way longer than 5 minutes. We're somehow still in this trade. We're hanging out. What's going on, guys? Chair, we started to get some profit on this one, Chair. What happened? We started to get some profit on this one. I hate to do that. I really didn't have an option to not step away for this one. That's one of the reasons that I'm excited to get set up with Motive Wave and have an automated stop trailing up into profit, actually an auto break even. But let's see. Yeah, still a bunch of you guys on here. What's happening, man? Sorry to have to jump away. We still got a ton of people on here. Have a trade running. That was no trade management now that I'm back. Let's see what we could do here. Kind of gets reassessed, reset up, and watch this market. So didn't pop right off of these lows, right? Continued to drift lower. We kind of got a little consolidation here now. What did this show me while I'm not, well, it didn't show me anything because I wasn't here. Pulled up $200 in profit. That ship has obviously sailed. I'm going to leave that where it was. Let's see if we can't get a little bit of a drive higher here. Yeah, taking a look at this, we got liquidity down to the 72s where my stop is. I really don't like this that much. Trades on, no option to manage right now except to just clip it if I'd like to clip it. But I'm gonna see if we don't find some more buyers here. But we got a declining CVD. We've really continued to sell off, kind of just drifting lower. We got liquidity down to the 72.5. A lot of this stuff wasn't here before I stepped away. We got liquidity down to the 72.5 here. We could easily crack right through that and just give me the stop. That looks like what we might get out of this one. Unfortunately, buyers did drive it higher. This looked, yeah, here we go, right through the 72.5. Perfect. I made it back in time to watch the stop out. Part of trading, man. You know, you have to have your time. You have to have your time at the desk. And I had something that I had to handle real quick on that one, longer than I wanted it to take. 5 minutes would have suited me much better, maybe to manage this one. But that's part of it. Yeah, so buyers tried it. Off of these 78s. All the way back up. We had sellers step in. We got sell orders up there. The 290s look beautiful for a return back to these 290s, but this looks like we're going to dip lower here first. Give me a full stop, unfortunately, and then maybe find buyers. Maybe not. Maybe just rip through the 70s. But again, we got it down to the 72.5. My stop is in a pretty shitty place, excuse my language, to actually survive that. 75s, maybe they protect the 75s, but this is now the drift lower. But we'll see what we get. So let's see. Chair, let's see what we got going on. Why I'm still cruising lower, I'll scroll way back up. Again, guys, sorry to leave you hanging. Sorry to let the chair trade, but back in action. Trade's still running. We'll see what we get here. The chair is holding the live stream down. He has a co-host. Yeah. Wild moves. Zach's taking a nap after learning stream. Looks like Chair's doing a pretty good job trading. Let's see if it wants to move the stop to break even. Yeah. That's the joke, right? That's like the live trading joke. You got to let your chair trade for you. You know, if you have to step away real quick. Damn, NQ just weak today. Fast money. I just see that YM is going. Never ventured into trading much. Nice bounce there. Yeah, we had a nice bounce here. This don't look too good, though. In it with the Z. Let's see. Lost a lot of moves. Stuck in a long bias. Yeah, we'll see if I don't take the L on this one. I could definitely see that. Got long at 62.85. Yeah. Kept trying and losing. Scott, I feel you, man. I feel you on that one. I suggested the chair to move the stop to break even. It wouldn't listen. Chair. Bro. I mean, listen, it served me pretty well, but it might be time for a new chair. We were taking bets if nature called or Jehovah's Witness showed up. All right, so I'm going to be completely honest on what that one was. That was a second opinion on a person to build out another room, home extension that's going to be used for me and my wife, who both utilize our space here at our house. But maybe a nice streaming setup. That's what we're looking at getting done. I don't like to yap about stuff before it happens, but yeah. But that's what I had going on. So it was supposed to be quick. It was supposed to be really quick, and that ended up being a whole conversation. So that's what it was. Let's see. Scott, I'll see you later, brother. Yeah, this is a long one. We're hanging out. Actually, this is not that long. We're not even at 2 hours. So we're hanging tight. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me on here. I got a trade running now. Like I said, I had an opportunity to close it as it was coming down towards stop. I'm going to see if these guys can't defend this level. Maybe get a drive back towards VWAP. See if we can't get some profit out of this. We'll see. Time will tell. I'm not going to close this one for a loss outside of just taking the stop. I let my chair trade for 20 minutes on that one. It didn't too bad of a job. I'm not going to close it break even. Not the reaction that I would have liked, but stops wide enough, to allow this thing to try to double bottom. We come back up through this high, back above prior day high. I don't mind that. That doesn't look that bad. I don't have all of the rest of the day here, but I'd love to see this thing kind of just chop a little bit and not just continue this sell-off to the downside. Now, if we don't break this, right? I'm not a trend line guy. I was mapping this out, but just trying to do a better job of describing what I'm looking at for structure. I'm not a trend line guy, right? But we could all agree how these highs are lining up. If we break this to the upside really aggressively and forget about the non-diagonal, non-horizontal line, if we start to break this to the upside, this little channel that we've got forming, I like this, right? I really like it long. Back up above this high. Again, I'm not a trend line guy at all, or whatever the hell those things are called. But just to kind of map out structure, right? That would really be coming back above a high. Maybe we just sweep it and then sell off. But I'm looking at this thing chopping before FOMC meeting minutes. That's my bias. Most days my bias is chop because that's what I feel like we do most of the time. If we flip this, right? We come all the way down through. We could be setting up for a gnarly bearish candle, right? Really aggressive. What's NQ doing out of curiosity since I was trading that this morning? Ooh, NQ was even more bullish to the upside. Wow. Came all the way back in. What did that look like on the 1 minute, just out of curiosity? Oh my God, man. What a nightmare. I mean, not really if you're a momentum trader, right? Maybe that worked nice for you. So yeah, I'm thinking this thing's gonna chop a little bit. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this chopping. If we have to come lower, maybe we come all the way down and we chop around here, right? We're still in between the daily candle range. That could happen. But I'd be looking at this to chop around the 90s. Top end of this consolidation, right? And that would give me a way to structure risk, right? If we came back above this high, I probably wouldn't want to see it come all the way back down. Grab some profit on this thing, maybe. Here we are back into the green. Chair is did okay for me. If we come through this, sorry, let me just take a look at the 15. If we come through this to the downside, we don't really find buyers the way that we're trying to find buyers on this candle here. We come through this, we get close to that 12 p.m. I think we might chop here, right? If I zoom out, you can see visible range volume profile where my stop is. We got some volume down here, right? We can come and just dance around and hang out here until FOMC meeting minutes. I could see that. I don't know that we sell off. We could also do that, but that's not really where my head's at. So I'm interested to see if we get a little pop back up, come and chill back around these highs, or at least retest them. That'd give me a way to structure risk. Again, I don't need to take profit in here. That was because I was stepping away, right? I'd be dragging stop loss into profit or just limiting out or joining ass to jump out on some profit if we start to pop back up towards those 90s. So let's see. See what the market's got for me. But so far, looks like we want to hold this channel. Sellers kind of stepping back in. Bookmap didn't look too bad. We had liquidity down here, but we left that behind, at least for this pullback up. The 90s got a nice stack up here. I don't know that I want to hold past that. I might have to front run that. Boys and girls. The 90s, 6290 has 525 lots on the book there. That could be dicey to get through. 95s up near VWAP have another. Sorry, let me get my VWAP back in the right area. 95s up past VWAP because I got my VWAP at 6293. 95s have 125 on the book. That could be an interesting level. But this is a dicey one to hold through. This is going to be a pretty dicey one to hold through. So I might front run this with a take profit and just grab profit on a crack of this high, coming back towards prior day high. If we don't just turn right back down here, right? Yeah, 526 is going to be a lot to get through. And I think even if we do, we might pull another wick down, that kind of frustrating move from ES here. So let's see if we can't get another pop up on this. Got some buyers stepping in that want to try it. Yeah, guys, I'm gonna look to take profit ahead of those 6290s. I'll show you why after. We may drive right through it to the 95s, but I'm gonna manage the trade first, and we'll take a look at it. But anybody that has a DOM in front of them, take a look at those 6290s. It came on at 11:04, so 20 some odd minutes ago. That looks legit. It hasn't moved. That could be a problem, right? We saw back at that 11:03 a.m. time frame, we had like, what does that look like? That was like 270 come on the book, right around the 87.5, and that's right where we turned up here. So these sell orders could definitely be a problem. Now we lift it; it could be back off to the races, but I think I'm going to try to front run that. Front run that meaning look to act ahead of it, right? Not hold right through it, and that would be jumping out of the thing as we got close, rather than let it blast off. I don't know that we reverse today and we just come all the way back up. Like, that's not my thesis for this trade. Back towards VWAP, but now we got a problem. Now we got a problem up here.
Order filled.
I'm out on that one right there, guys. Again, I'm going to front run this level. We'll see if it pops. Looks like buyers want to try it. Growing, not a whole lot of volume coming into it, but I'm going to show you this right now. I'm out on that one. 369. Chair did okay. Ended up getting a little bit of a reversal on that. 200 some odd bucks. I was 120 in profit, so 250 bucks, something like that. Ooh, we're going to blast it. Let's see. We filled it. Here, I'm going to show you guys this on Bookmap. There we go. Here is Bookmap. For those of you that don't know what Bookmap is, I'm going to throw this link in the chat right now. I'm partnered, I'm affiliated with Bookmap, but it's been really helpful in my trading coming into the futures market. I mean that genuinely. Obviously, I'm biased. You could grain of salt it if you want. I would encourage you to do your own research, make your own decisions. But for me, Bookmap's been pretty damn helpful. Here's why I jumped out right ahead of the 90s. That level there is heavy, right? And if I zoom out and come back, right, this is now historical data looking just a couple minutes ago. That 6290s with 525 lots on it could act as some serious resistance. Now, if we lift it, it could be off to the races, which we just did, came up and filled. But I'm cautious that we react here. I'm cautious that we pull back down, right? These levels often act as magnets, but they also act as good areas to look to enter the market or to structure risk. Let's see if we get a larger reaction, and we won't know, we'll know that it's not for a random reason, right? You could look at order flow. Maybe it's just a coincidence today, but there's oftentimes a nice reaction off of these levels. So we did fill it. We did crack right above. Looks like we traded on the candlestick chart the 90 3/4. this is looking like a decent amount of buying pressure coming into it. So we may continue to drive, but I'm okay not trying to hold back to the moon on this one, grabbing some profit, calling it a day, right? Took an L on Monday, took a small W yesterday, took a decently small W today, 369 across 7 accounts, back into profit on the week, green on the week, no complaints, right? No complaints. Trying to make a little bit more than we lose, right? But yeah, that's Bookmap for you. Another thing that I've been paying more attention to and talking a little bit about more about is CVD, cumulative volume delta. Now this is anchored to, here we go, got some nice reaction here. This is anchored to, I start my Bookmap around 7:30, 8 a.m. every day, loads an hour of data ahead of that. So this is anchored to a specific time frame. You could reset it for 9:30 open, which might make more sense for you, right? Or whatever time you want. But it is giving you the difference between buying and selling volume, right? Sell aggressors and buy aggressors. And that changes throughout the day as buying and selling volume picks up. Divergences happen. We watch things flatten out. We watch growing CVD on declining price. We watch increasing, advancing CVD, more positive on price that's moving to the upside. These things can be a little bit helpful, in my humble opinion, to watch. But that's up to you. Just like any other tool, it doesn't work all the time. Nothing magic, nothing super special. You got to believe in it for whatever reason you want to. And CVD has been interesting to watch. Definitely interesting to watch for me. So, if I was going to read cumulative volume delta on this one, we've risen on a rising cumulative volume delta. We're back into a nice positive CVD for the day, at least up to this point. We're selling off a little bit. Buying pressure, buying volume is not dropping at all. That looks like we want to push to the upside if I was exclusively going to read cumulative volume delta, right? Which I don't. We're looking at price action, market structure, volume, order flow, actual just order flow, not just volume, a delta on the bottom. But to me, this has been interesting to start to not only look at and watch, because I've been doing that for quite a number of months, but also to start to utilize, right? To start to process that information and use it to make hopefully good trading decisions. So that is Bookmap. If you want to check it out, link is in the chat. But again, this stuff isn't magic, right? Oftentimes price just does something that crazy, right? It blows through levels. It completely disrespects stuff on Bookmap. But there's a reason that a lot of traders utilize Bookmap, or if not Bookmap, a DOM, a simple depth of market, right? Pushing to the upside, we had quite a bit of orders here at the 300s, right? Nice round psychological number. We continue to lift that. Decently growing CVD. Up here, as we had, 310s had a lot on the book, right? Where I started to get involved with a short. We started to see CVD drop off here. You saw more and more orders come on the sell side for 315, even as we moved away. We had some stuff get moved around. Like this didn't stay on the book, right? So that could have kind of faked you out. If you saw that over here, back down at the 300s, which I did, you might say, I want to get short towards that. Well, look what happened. It's not that anybody can't pull orders and do whatever they want. There's spoofing, there's market manipulation. That stuff is all real with order flow, and it can make it maybe not as helpful or more difficult to work with. But again, for me, just using Bookmap in the simple way that I do, it makes the DOM real easy to read. Really easy to read a depth of market current order book. You can watch where orders are coming on and off the book. You can watch what happens when they get there, when they fill. You could use this in so many different ways, creating, even more advanced market narratives in the simple, dumb guy way that I look at it. There's a whole bunch of different tools you could use, audible alerts, all this different stuff. But again, take a look at where that 6290s acted as resistance, right? Now you could say, Zach, that's also prior day high, like right at 6289 and a half, or 6289 on my chart. Obviously that's going to be some resistance. Obviously you're going to get some kind of reaction there. Sure. I would say, yeah, you're probably fair saying that. But look, not back at the 6300s, but right here at the 95s now, near VWAP, but not at VWAP. Got 581 on the book, quite a bit sell side. What happens when we get up there? Do we get up there? So that's Bookmap. That is Bookmap. You guys want to check it out? Link is in the chat. Again, there's a wild 4th of July deal going on for Bookmap. They usually don't have deals like this. It's 50% plus 10% off. It's not code RDF. I'll throw it in the chat. It's not code RDF. It's these two weird long codes. But I will grab it for you guys. Hang on. So first one is for 50% plus 10% off 3 months of Global Plus and the same amount off of 3 months of data. You can use Bookmap data and get a single like CME, for example, and get that whole setup really cheap to test it for 3 months if you wanted to. Again, I'm partnered. I'm affiliated. I stand to make money from you hitting my link and all that fun stuff. You don't want to use Bookmap? Totally cool. Do your own research, make your own decisions. I don't think you have to use anything that I use. You could use the sun's rays and the tides of the Hudson River and maybe make money. That second one is just straight up 40% off Global Plus. 4th of July, holidays, these companies love to do deals. It's pretty sweet to capitalize on them, especially if you're going to use whatever the tool is anyway. Like I always try to load up on my subscription to TradingView, right? Really extend that out. I actually got the paid one of the order flow versions of MotiveWave, which you just got like 25% off of that. So take advantage when you can. But as always, do your own research, make your own decisions. Along with that, let me get rid of this bad boy. Along with that, you can get 55% off with code RDF. Better than the email, better than the website, better than whatever promotion you see in Discord or anywhere else with code RDF. Top 1 futures. These are the straight to sim funded pro accounts for 55% off and the elite challenges. Makes them stupid cheap. If you say, Zach, I don't want intraday trailing drawdown. I want to trade the end of day trailing drawdown stuff. I want just the OG consistency rule. 35% off those bad boys. I think they're a hell of a deal. I think it's a solid opportunity. I'm super duper bullish. I've remained bullish on Top 1 futures. Obviously, I'm partnered. I'm affiliated. I'm biased if I stand to make money. But do your own research. Make your own decisions. If you want to check that stuff out, I think it's one of the best opportunities on the market for a prop firm. I love instant funded. I like being able to trade on Project X. I really like majority of what they've done, right? There's always some things that I think could be done better. We had some adjustments to rules and changes in the beginning. They did what they could to do right by everybody, which I believe they did. And yeah, solid path to a live account. If you're looking to just YOLO accounts and trade like an absolute degenerate, this is probably not the place for you. There's probably other just straight up bucket shops where you would have better luck. But if you are looking to leverage the opportunity to trade on Project X in an instant funded account, get paid out heavy potentially in on your way to getting considered for a live account, I think it would be a smart move. I think it would be potentially a smart move, right? To check that out. So links in the chat, links everywhere. Code RDF. Yeah. Oh, dude, we got another person that dropped something. So what? Hang on, I missed it. Thanks for all the insight. So what? What's up, dude? Dropped another. I don't even know how you guys did this on YouTube. That's dope. What's up, dude? I appreciate you. I'm gonna have to add you guys in Discord for sure. And thank you. I appreciate you guys. You don't have to do that. You definitely don't have to do that. You know, there's gonna be something cool rolling with Kick soon. But I appreciate you guys. Whatever you know, whatever you're doing here, I'm gonna try to always give back multiples of, man. So. I appreciate you guys. This is definitely fun. Good morning, Donna. What's happening? Donna H. So yeah, watching this thing chop now, guys. I see we still got a whole bunch of people on hanging out. Watching this thing start to chop. 2 trades, 2 W's, no complaints. Up 369.40 times 7. That's a cool $2,500 here trading live with you guys. I don't know that I see another setup on this. I'm going to frame out what I could see potentially before 2 p.m. But this was my long back towards VWAP, right? We already got that. If we sell off harshly back down through these lows, right? We pull a move where we come back down lower. I don't know that I want that long again. I probably don't. If we pulled something really aggressive and we got down around this level, I may look to buy that really aggressively back up towards this area of high volume. Because at that point, I think we'd be coming out of this area. Ooh, gnarly selling pressure right back down. I think at that point, we'd be coming out of the 70s, 75s, right? And if we got down here, I think we're likely to bounce before that 2 p.m. time frame. So I'd be looking maybe long off that prior day low, overnight low level, right? That Globex Euro low. We start to drift back higher. I don't know that I want to short this. I really don't. I think we're just likely to chop. Cautious Trump news. Yeah, here we go. There's the volatility coming back in on somebody making a comment. So I could potentially see a long from down here, maybe, but I don't have anything really too clean, which is upsetting because I'd love to trade the live account after this. But I'm going to have to wait and see. I could see a potential long off of some lows. Short, don't know that I would want to try it again if we came all the way back up from down here. And again, we have 2 p.m. FOMC meeting minutes. So I would definitely be cautious around that time frame if you are continuing to trade. Okay, we got Trump listing out tariffs. Yeah, that's gonna be enough. That's gonna be enough for me. Remember, guys, although we did not run one today, we got multiple 50K accounts to be given away on these streams every week. Appreciate you guys hopping on here. I appreciate you being in the community. I'm gonna give back. I'm going to continue to do more. We're going to continue to do more until I start to get yelled at by prop firms and companies that I'm doing too much, which I've already been told. But we're going to keep doing more, right? And I'll do it personally if I have to. In any event, I appreciate you guys hopping on. Quick disclaimer at the end of this, ending nice and green. $2,500 on the day. Back to green for the week. Nothing crazy, right? Not as green as I would like to be. Just kind of catching these small movements in difficult markets. Staying a little bit green, a little bit above break even. I can't complain on that. So take what the market gives you, right? Remember, guys, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say or do here or anywhere else is financial advice or a suggestion or recommendation to do anything. Do your own research. Make your own trading decisions. Trading's very risky. Almost all traders lose money. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content like Top 1 Futures, Code RDF, Bookmap, and others. Appreciate you guys being here. Enzo, awesome stream. Take care, Zach. Absolutely. Randy, what's up, brother? I will see you guys in Discord. Thanks, Zach. I appreciate you so much. Hey, thanks for that superstar chat, whatever it's called. I appreciate you, brother. Y'all are awesome. Ralph, thank you. Yeah, Andrew Baggs is talking about the stuff that Trump's listing off. That's crazy. Yeah, gonna be wild, guys. Wild ride. Be cautious trading today. Trade well. I appreciate you guys hopping on. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 2:45 a.m. for London Open and 9:30 a.m. for NYSE Open. We're streaming both of the main opens here live, free. Gonna see how long I can keep this up before I fall asleep at the stream. Maybe get a new chair, but chair did all right. Chair did good. You guys were doubting chair. Chair traded well today. I appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Trade well.